Yeah, this point is very interesting for me, Mr. Johnson, because I was just yesterday or the day before yesterday watching an interview with Alexander Dugin, made by that girl. I don't know her name. I'm sorry to her, but
Syrian
the
girl, Syrian Mimi,
Syrian girl,
Mimi.
exactly.
Yeah, I've met her. Lovely girl.
Yeah. She sounds very. I mean, I'm following the the Donbass Davushka girls,
Yeah,
and she's always present on the Twitter chats. And but in this interview with Alexander Dugin, at some point she was asking all this about these wars and everything, and she was asking about how the Russians would act in this Israel situation. And his answer is quite pragmatic. Look, we Russians, we have a problem here. We have Ukraine. Let's not forget Ukraine. We cannot open infinite fronts of war. We have to
right.
take care of our problems. Yeah, we are going to do very strong declarations that we condemn what Israel is doing in Gaza, but don't expect us to go solve the entire world's problem. And at some point, he says that, and I'm quoting him, I'm a little disappointed with the Arabic world because I don't see them taking care of their problem
Right.
in the same level that we are taking care of our problem here, in the same level that China is taking care of its problem there. Uh, but at the same point, at the same time, and now I'm talking by myself. Now, at the same time, I see all these Yemenis Houthis taking very strong actions, and when I see that, it looks to me, okay, you're proxying us, we are going to proxy you.
Sure.
I mean, Iran is not going to directly attack Israel or something like that. But what the Houthis are doing in the Red Sea, in the Red Sea, it looks a lot like they are strangling the Israeli economy
Right.
to
Well,
that point.
not just the Israeli economy.
Oh,
I mean, they've shut down the Red Sea. I mean,
yeah,
it's like that book. There's a book called "The Mouse That Roared," and in the Yemen, in that sense, is the mouse that's roaring. It has been able to effectively shut it down. Now, um, we can argue from a standpoint of just pure international law that what Yemen is doing is illegal, could be and is considered an act of war. So it's what we're going to see is the United States and Great Britain probably. No, I'm not sure. I know Egypt's not going to get involved, and Turkey's certainly not going to get involved. Sort of been basically the Western Europeans and with the United States, we're going to attack Yemen to try to destroy their ability to launch missiles. Well, sounds good in theory. The problem is Yemen's the Houthis. This war started initially with a Sunni-backed government that was closely aligned with Saudi Arabia, and then the Houthis, these Shia, they're real hardcore Shia Muslims. And this conflict goes back something like 1,000 years. So we're not talking something that just developed a couple of years ago. This is deep seated, goes from generation to generation. And so the Houthis fought, despite fighting the United States, and held up, and then have not been destroyed up to this point. Now, what you have, it is the government of Yemen. It's under the control, it looks like, of predominantly Houthis. And they have vowed that they are going to fight, and they are delivering on that vow to fight on behalf of Israel. So the United States is going to try to attack their missile sites. The problem is Yemen doesn't have these thick bases with missile sites. So if you remember the Gulf War, in 2003, and then the first invasion of Iraq in January of 1991, where the United States was trying to destroy all the Scud missiles, and we had control of the air. We had we had trouble finding them. We had trouble stopping them. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen here, that the United States is going to launch it. It's going to end up killing some civilians in Yemen, and that's just going to fuel the desire for revenge greater and greater. And Yemen's going to continue to launch missiles, rockets, drones, and these ships are going to try to fend them off. The problem is those ships don't have an unlimited supply of ammunition. They have a finite supply. And a lot of the air defense systems that the United States uses are from, let's say, the Aegis battery. Well, the cheapest missile in that costs $472,000 a pop. The more advanced one is $1 million a shot. Okay, so these, if the Houthis are launching a drone that costs $5,000, $10,000, the United States is basically using $1 million missile to take out a $10,000 drone. Now, does that make sense economically? No. So at some point, if the Houthis keep swarming these ships, at some point the ships are going to need to be resupplied. Here's another problem. The ship tenders that used to exist in the Navy, and I should let the commander speak to this more appropriately than me, but those ship tenders would come alongside and they would have ammunition, new supplies of rockets, missiles, and loaded on board. Well, the U.S. Navy, apparently, according to Simplicius the Thinker, no longer has those ship tenders. So that means these ships have to go find a port where they can go in, be in safe harbor, and then the stuff can get loaded on then. And then on top of that, you've got the production problem because, as we found out in Ukraine, here's United States. Oh, we're a first world superpower. But when it comes to producing artillery shells, Patriot missile batteries, etc., HIMARS, we don't have limitless capabilities. We have very limited capabilities. We've run down our inventory. We've shared most of it, given most of it to Ukraine. And now we don't have any stockpiles that can be just pulled out and said, okay, here you go. Don't worry, we're cranking it out every day. This is not happening. So if this war in Yemen becomes real, and there is a continuous exchange of missiles and rockets, you could find the United States in the embarrassing position of, okay, we fired all the bullets in our gun. Now what? Either go get a reload or throw your gun at them. So it's going to make the United States look weak. The United States is either going to appear to be this bully that's constantly beating up and causing war in other countries, or weak, or some combination of the two.